Yiheng Wang's reign of terror is finally over. After 466 days of holding the 3x3 world record and a mind-blowing 62 sub-5 averages, his dominance has been unmatched. To put this into perspective, the second best cuber in the world, Timon Koloshinsky, has only 11 sub-5 averages. Not saying 11 sub-5 averages isn't a lot. Most people have 0 sub-5 averages, but the craziest thing is that Yiheng has nearly 6 times as many. If that's not convincing enough, let's compare their best competition averages. Yiheng's legendary 4.05 is 0.69 seconds faster than Timon's best average. For context, the difference between second in the world Timon and third in the world Xuanyi is only 0.03 seconds. The gap between Yiheng and everyone else, it's massive. Yiheng Wang is undeniably the best cuber in the world, but the cubing community has been buzzing with a specific question. Who will get the world's first sub-4 average? While Yiheng is on pace to shatter the barrier, a new question has emerged. Who will eventually take him down? Yiheng represents peak CFOP solving, free pair after free pair, leading into a perfect OLL and PLL execution. At this level though, improvement becomes nearly impossible. The 2-step last layer is a huge limiting factor, and he can't make much improvements with his TPS because that's not happening. Yiheng already has 15 TPS on a bunch of solves. While his skill ceiling is nearing its peak, Yiheng is still thriving at the top of the cubing world. So the question isn't if someone will beat him, it's when. In the past 5 months, Yiheng has broken the world record average 5 times, coming within 0.06 of sub-4 average. People were starting to wonder if Yiheng has pretty much ended cubing forever. But then, an unexpected result shocked the world. And no, this wasn't Timon. Instead, it had everything to do with the revolutionary solving method. For those unfamiliar with the ZB method, it combines the last 2 steps of CFOP, OLL, and PLL into one single step. This reduces the number of moves and increases efficiency, leading to faster solves. But ZB comes with significant challenges. First, it requires learning over 790 algorithms, making it much more complex than CFOP. Second, recognition and execution under pressure are incredibly difficult. That's why very few cubers use ZB competitively. It's nearly impossible to master. So why bring this up? Yiheng doesn't even use ZB and doesn't even plan to anyways. But ZB is just where our story begins. Yes, you saw that right. 7-year-old Xuanyi gang just achieved a staggering 4.32 average using full ZB. This makes him second fastest cuber in the world with a counting 3.9 and 4.02 in the same average. Before this, Yiheng held the 27 fastest 3x3 averages of all time. With this result, he now only holds the top 6. Even more impressively, Xuanyi is the second ever person to count a sub-4 solve in competition. So getting a result this good means that he must have been doing something right and gotten pretty lucky. So let's take a look at Xuanyi's 3 fastest solves of the average. On this first scramble, Xuanyi goes for a white cross. There's a block right here, but he doesn't do anything special. He just does a normal cross. He first starts by inserting white, but not like that. He actually holds yellow front and finger tricks it like a wide L prime. And then he solves blue and then these two. How he does it is then he does a F move and then inserts blue across from green. And when he does it, it makes a pair right here. So then you can do D prime, insert this cross edge. And then for this last one, don't do an R prime. You actually have this case right here. So he does a U move first and then an R prime. And what that does is it makes a 3 mover. Xuanyi is known for predicting far into inspection. So then he also saw this and he also saw this. So we then rotated and inserted the 3 mover and immediately went into this and this, which is rotationless, which he solved into the back like this. When you insert this pair, it takes out this free pair and it gives you a really nice case for this last pair. But since Xuanyi predicted this in inspection, he just did the most efficient thing for this pair, which is insert it with a U2. For this specific case, this isn't the best thing because if you insert it like this, it actually makes a 3 mover. But it's totally okay because since Xuanyi uses ZBLS, getting a 3 mover isn't all that great. So he just inserts with RU2R prime, rotates, and then for this ZBLS, he does a U2 to start. There's a line right here and it's this pair. He does a F prime, pairs up this pair, and then just inserts it like that. And then that gives just a nick loss for ZB, which is a super nice ZB with U2 AUF. From this position, I wonder if he just inserted this pair like this, forcing a 3 mover, what would happen? So this would give a crazy OLL, and then this would also give a T-perm. So you do that, and then just T-perm. But I would like to say Xuanyi uses ZBLS. So for this ZBLS, when you have a line right here, he would first do an S prime, insert the pair, and then an S move, and that gives a crazy ZBLL. So no matter what he did, he would have gotten a good ZBLL. Also, from this position, you can actually do one look last layer. It just looks like this. You do this OLL into this OLL. And then yeah. On this next scramble, this is definitely my favorite solve of the average. Xuanyi chooses to go for an X cross on white, making use of this block and this edge right here. Even though this edge is solved, he does end up breaking it, but solving it later. So he first puts an orange like this, and then inserts blue on top of it. How he inserts blue is by doing an R prime, and then he solves blue by doing that to preserve this huge block. As you notice, green is now in the wrong spot, so he does an R2 to solve this. And now what you have to do is insert this edge with this last cross edge. So he just does it simply by rotating and inserting it into the back like this. And with the D prime, that solves the X cross. For his next pair, he definitely predicted this in inspection. He had this, so he just solves it into the back. And luckily enough, that makes another free pair. And when you solve that, that gives another 3 mover. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. And since your edges are already oriented, all you have to do is insert it into the back. This brings us to ZBLL. And at this point, Xuanyi was already on crazy pace. For this ZB, these two are matching and these two are opposites, and you have a block and these two are opposites. So what Xuanyi did in the solve is he did a U prime and he did this ZBLL alg, which isn't the best alg, but I'll show it to you anyways, and then I'll show you the best alg. So it goes like this. Take out the pair, split it up, pair it up with an L move, and then insert it, fix the L layer, and that solves the cube. But if Xuanyi knew the better alg, he could have done a U prime and then went into this algorithm, which is so much better. It goes like this. So you do a sexy move, and then it's like a sledgehammer, but the last move you're going to do a wide F prime. Now take out this pair, S, insert the pair. And that's the best ZBLL. On this fourth solve, this is a 402. Again, there's a block right here on yellow cross, which is what he chose to do, but he decided not to do anything with it. First, he solved blue and red, and he held it with white on front, doing a U2, and then going to do a R move. Before doing the R move, the green is right here, and you're going to insert the green by doing that, but he finger tricked it by doing a R prime and a D, which solves it, and then it puts orange into place as well. Then he did wide R, and that solves this piece, and then R2 to solve the last cross edge. It creates this 3 mover able to be easily inserted into the back. Next, he had this pair right here, and most people would solve it like this into the back, but what Xuanyi did was instead he did a U2, paired it up like this, and inserted with a U2. There's pros and cons for doing it each way, but let's just say if he did it with the standard way, it would have resulted in a crazy ending. I'll show it in a second. But continuing with Xuanyi's solution, he ended up solving this edge, so he just keyholed this last corner in like this. And then he had this for ZBLS. For this ZBLS, it's very, very easy. There's a line right here, and all you do is you do an F prime, which makes the 3 mover, pair it up, and then do an F move, and then U2, and then he had a soon ZBLL. This one is also very nice. You have blocks right here, and these two are opposites, these two are matching. Very good algorithm. You do a U prime, and it goes like this. And then no AUF. But he missed something on this solve that would have made it arguably better. Coming back to the second pair, if he just solved it like this, he would have had a very similar solution for the last 2 pairs, where he could keyhole this edge instead of the corner by doing this. And then instead of doing a D move, he can do a wide U move. And then for this ZBLS, it's just double sexy move as all the edges are oriented. And look at this, a willow skip and a Y perm. But you can say Xuanyi's solution was arguably more optimal as he didn't have to do any rotations the whole solve. At just 7 years old, Xuanyi's solving ability is off the charts. When I was 7, I was struggling to ride a bike. Meanwhile, Xuanyi is out here solving soon ZBLLs and achieving sub 4 BPAs. Fun fact, this is the fastest pacing average in history, even faster than any of Yiheng's. So what was Xuanyi's BPA going into this last solve? 3.94. 3.94 is insane. It would have been crazy if Xuanyi dropped his PR average from 4.77 down to 3.94. And it's incredibly strange to say, but a 7-year-old is pioneering the future of cubing. 3-lick solves with 3 pairs planned in inspection, ZBLS, ZBLL. This is the direction cubing is heading. And it's incredible the amount of cube knowledge he has achieved at just the age of 7. Besides someone like Timon, Xuanyi has to be one of the smartest cubers on the planet. So, if Xuanyi is this good, why isn't he the best in the world yet? One of the main reasons is because of his turn speed. Xuanyi has incredible turning for his age, but it's nowhere near Yiheng's blazing 15 TPS. And the solution to this? Time. I think we forget Xuanyi is literally 7 years old. He literally just started 1st grade. I don't know what y'all were doing in 1st grade, but I definitely wasn't going for world records. His hands are way smaller than most cubers, and his lack of experience shows slightly. But as he grows, his turn speed will naturally increase. As time goes by, Xuanyi's turning will become like Yiheng's, and that's when cubing is going to get scary. Let's not forget, when Yiheng was 7, he wasn't doing anything close to what Xuanyi is achieving now. By the time Xuanyi reaches Yiheng's age, he will be on a whole nother level entirely. So now the question changes. It's not just who will beat Yiheng, because it seems like Xuanyi is on pace to beat Yiheng now. It is now who will get the first sub 4 average. Xuanyi was one solid ZBLL away from achieving sub 4. On his last solve, he reached ZBLL at 2.8 seconds. A 1.2 ZBLL would have clutched it, but lockups and unnecessary U moves cost him. Yiheng, on the other hand, has been within striking distance twice, both times needing a PLL skip to break sub 4. But PLL skips at the end of world record pacing averages are incredibly rare. Ironically, for Xuanyi, the time he needed for sub 4 was 4.05, the same time as Yiheng's current world record average. Coincidence? Yeah, actually, yeah, it's a pretty big coincidence. And what about Timon? Timon has also learned full ZB, but he's still adjusting. Learning ZB is like learning a new language. He's not fluent yet, but for someone like Xuanyi, who's been using it practically his whole cubing career, he is very fluent and comfortable in the language. But Timon has shown flashes of brilliance, such as on his 4.79 average, where all counting solves use the ZB method. As he gains consistency, Timon will definitely enter the sub 4 discussion. Xuanyi's rise highlights the importance of hard work and dedication. In a video from Antoine Canton, he reveals Xuanyi's 2 training methods, quality and quantity prediction. Xuanyi practices quality inspection through planning efficient solutions with low move counts. But as the complexity of the solution increases, the harder it is to plan. So with this practice technique, he usually only plans around 3 pairs. So for quantity prediction, he focuses on maximizing his attempts, where he does simpler solutions so he can plan full F2L and even edge orientation in inspection. He does up to 60 solves a day with this practice technique. So why does he do this? Because of one goal he set for himself: to 1-look 3x3 solves. This dream is only achievable with the ZB method, and that's why Xuanyi uses ZB and why he has improved so quickly. 1-looking a 3x3 is an entire concept on its own that I will probably talk about in the future, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see that video when it comes out. So with all that out of the way, who will get sub 4 first? The fastest cuber in the world using the inefficient CFOP method, or Xuanyi, the 7-year-old upcoming cuber that just got the low 4 average? Or Timon, the veteran cuber that just learned the ZB method recently? All we can do is now wait and see. Comment your guesses below for who and when the sub 4 average will happen. And if you want to learn the ZB method, I offer coaching on cubing.gg for CFOP and ZB method users. So let's see who makes history first, because the future of cubing is just beginning.